My slides up, please. So Phil and I had this discussion about presentations, and his was going to be what makes a good diver, and mine was going to be what makes a better diver. And the problem is he took most of my presentation yesterday. So I'm going to be about better diver, and better means you get better. It's continuous improvement. I'm going to start off doing this by showing a short video. Some of you may have seen it before, but the question still exists. How many times does the white players pass the ball? Count. That's your task. Count the white player passes. Okay, how many? Shout out. 37, nope, not that many. 15, who's seen it before? Okay, so you've seen it before. How many passes? There are 15 passes. But that wasn't the task that I was going to get you to do. How many flower pots were in front of the lift? 1 or 2? Hands up for 1. How many people think there's 1 flower pot in front of the lifts that were there? 2. How many were there for 2? Oh, there's more. There are no flower pots in that scene. And actually, the passes we're talking about, it's not just about the passes, it's the gorilla. So those who haven't seen this before, who's seen the gorilla? Seen it before? Okay, so the bit here is the recognition. I mean, I could run a whole lesson on this. Selective attention. We only see the things that we're looking for. The framing effect. I asked you to see how many plant pots are in there, 1 or 2. I only gave you those 2 options. And what I normally do in a class is I pick the most senior person and I preload them and I say, tell me what the answer is. I want you to say 2. And then I pick the most junior person in that class and say, how many is it? And they'll go 2. And it only takes one person to say, I don't know, and then that breaks the chain. So what we're trying to do is change this confirmation bias and authority gradient. So one of the things, or basically my takeaways from this, understand how it makes sense for people to do what they did, their local rationality. People don't go on a dive to do a bad job, to have a bad outcome. We're trying to do the best we can with the resources we've got. Recognize we're all fallible and we have variable performance. That is human nature. If we recognize that, then we can plan accordingly. When it comes to learning from other people's events, successes, and failures, look for similarities, not differences. Broadly, we're all wired the same way. And if that decision-making, that action, that behavior is based around the context, then we're all going to behave the same way. So think about the similarities. The bias is, you're different to me, I wouldn't make that mistake. That's a self-protection piece. And the final bit is about reflect on what's happened, on your own behaviors, your team's behaviors. And a question to consider is, were you lucky or were you good? And there's nothing wrong with being lucky, but don't confuse luck with skill. And that means we've got to debrief and reflect on it. And this piece here is you can't reflect in the moment until you've reflected on the moment. And what that means is when you're in the here and the now, you're in the tunnel, it's very difficult to think about how to solve that problem. That's what debriefs are about. Look back, learn, reflect from yourself, and reflect on how others solve problems. There's my 3 minutes, 58 seconds. Thank you very much.
Thank you.